that brings us to our very special topic, the convergence.
Hey, yo.
Skyrim, yo. What the heck? And Fallout, yo.
Yep.
Did you do this, Joe?
I did also do this.
You did this? This is amazing. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I used images that existed and merged them together.
Yeah, of course, but that's a sick edit, man.
Yeah,
I want that as a background. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have the file.
Oh yeah, is it 4K?
You know what? Maybe I will find a way. I'll put this on our Facebook. So if people want,
Oh, sick.
they can go to the Facebook and they can get the file there.
Dude, that's awesome.
There you go. So I'm calling this convergence of two RPG franchises as our special topic. What we're going to talk about is mainly going to be space magic, but first off, it's about how they're taking what they have learned in both the Fallout series and Elder Scrolls series, and they're kind of converging it into Starfield. Right. So I think that like the Fallout part of things is very evident in what we've seen from the direct, right? You've got all the base building, the weapon modifications, the gunfighting, which
shipbuilding, which is basically base building.
Yeah. A lot of it, the ties to Fallout are very evident, and I think that these like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls side of things has not been showcased very much, if at all, except for when we get into space magic.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we get into the Elder Scrolls. Like that's where the Elder Scrolls is coming in, and I bet it's a bigger part of the game than we've seen, right? Because
so to take like one step back, where do you see how Elder Scrolls games have impacted Fallout? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like, you know, they're not side by side moving into Starfield. It's like Skyrim came way before Fallout 4, which came way before Starfield. So I feel like one could kind of feed into the other, and then that could be like, see how that impacts Starfield.
There's definitely things that they learned from doing like Morrowind and Oblivion that fed into.
But we're not
Fallout,
talking about like RPG
that fed into
mechanics.
like Fallout 3. No, I'm not talking about like RPG mechanics. I'm talking about like, I think Fallout 2 was like a side scroller, wasn't it, or something like that?
I just mean more in terms of like if Skyrim, if what they learned from Skyrim's magic system is how they implement it into Starfield.
I don't think it's just Skyrim's magic system that they're using. We're going to get into this.
Okay.
But if you're talking about like what fed into like Fallout from Elder Scrolls, I would say that Morrowind and Oblivion are probably where you would look at for that, because that's where you've got like everything basically being lootable, and you know, a lot of systems that are in that suddenly become part of Fallout 3.
Right.
And then
because
Fallout 3 builds into Fallout 4. And so yes, they've definitely shared some stuff between that, but I think when we get into magic is when we're talking about the parallels between Skyrim or Elder Scrolls and
the more fantasy elements.
Starfield. Yeah, the sci-fi, like Fallout handles the sci-fi side of things in the Starfield. The Skyrim Elder Scrolls stuff is gonna fill out the fantasy part of Starfield. So it's a sci-fi fantasy game.
I can't see how they could have as rich of like lore with the fantasy elements in Starfield as they did.
Space game.
Yeah, I can't. I
think
we'll see. Elder Scrolls lore is wild.
It is.
So,
but this is getting to like alien technology. It looks like it's like we said last time. Any bit of science appears to be magic until we understand it. Right. So, so that I think that might be kind of how they're leaning on this, is that this is just science we don't understand. So it's magic. But even like the magic systems in the Elder Scrolls game have been drastically changing from iteration to iteration. In Morrowind, you could like completely craft your own spells from like anything. You just needed the correct soul stone or whatever to bind it to something or to create it and learn it. Like you basically pick what sect of magic you want. So destruction, conjuration, illusion, whatever. You pick what type of spell in that you want. You pick if it's on touch or if it's like projectile, and you pick the power, which determines how much mana it's going to cost to use, such like that.
Oblivion was the same way, right?
Oblivion, yes, but dumbed down a little bit.
Okay.
And then Skyrim was just like
Nothing.
It was extremely simple.
Yeah. No spell. You couldn't create your own spells at all.
But Skyrim got 2 type of magics. They've got your casting whatever magic, and then they had the dragon shouts.
Powers.
Yeah.
Well, they had powers, and then your hands. What's in your hands?
Yeah. Well, and
Which made
that's
it really fun.
well, you're talking about enchanted items when you talk
No,
about
like
what's in
you
your
could
hands.
have. There's powers and shouts, which are basically handled the same way. It's like your right bumper that'll trigger that, and then you have what you have equipped, like in your hands.
Oh, as your
spell.
magic things. Yeah. So that's kind of how Skyrim handled it. But so they added more systems to it, basically, but not really a way to customize it as much, or make your own. So I think that Starfield's space magic is going to look a lot like Skyrim's shout system.
Yeah, it would have to be like that.
Yeah, but with
a power you just activate.
Right, but with maybe like a bit of the Morrowind Oblivion customization thing, and I'll get into why here in a second.
You think?
I think, and part of the reason...
That'd be cool.
All right, so this is the skill trees that we're seeing here, and if you notice, there's no skill tree that particularly seems to deal with magic.
That would be a little spoilery if there was.
You got physical,
Maybe.
social, combat, science, and tech.
Okay.
So it seems that maybe there will be skills in here that will improve magical abilities. I can tell you from the document that there does appear to be a couple that might be related to it, but also may not.
You read through it?
I read through it because I'm preparing for this, but I'm not going to spoil anything. So I think that there are maybe skills that affect your quote unquote shouts, your space magic in here, but also they very well could not be buffed by any of this. Who knows?
Okay.
So there's that. So there's no skill tree for this. Maybe there's a hidden 6th skill tree when you unlock the magic ability, and then you do have skills for that.
When you touch the magic space rock?
When you touch the magic rings. So maybe there's that. But also we see this menu in the direct, which has 5 sections here for skills, inventory, ship, missions, and the one in the top left corner, it doesn't show it here, but it's star map.
Okay. What's the bottom left one?
Ship.
Yes.
And we see here this person's level 11. If later in the direct, we see a 6th dot up in the top.
Space magic.
Ooh, another dot.
And they're higher level.
Ooh. Wait,
And
is there not a dot?
There's not a dot in the previous one. So the interesting thing here is this is why I think it's a lot like Skyrim Shouts, is because Skyrim Shouts have a separate menu item, right? They're your shouts or whatever, powers. And so that's probably you unlock that dot to do more
Spoilers.
magic. This isn't something I discovered. This is something someone else discovered. I watched, and I don't remember who I was watching when I saw it, but I thought, yes, this looks right. This looks pretty intriguing, pretty...
Mysterious 6th
The
dot.
6th dot.
Oh,
we're going
Don't
deep
call it
now,
space magic
boys.
anymore.
The mysterious...
It's
the
not
6th
space
dot.
magic,
The
it's the
6th
6th dot.
I mean, that sounds more official.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you unlocked your 6th dot yet?
Yeah.
I am the 6th dot.
Another thing, so that's all why I think it's going to be Skyrimish. I think that there's also going to be elements of Morrowind and Oblivion to it, to customizing it, because of... This is a comment from Fabian Winkler on our last video.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it seems that nobody is talking about that we saw the fully assembled and functional artifact during the direct at 4403. You can see the hero floating in space in front of the activated artifact. It has the rings, looks like a human-sized portal to transport human-sized things, and it has alien language symbols on it.
Yep.
So, obviously, we assumed this stuff was alien, but it does show the ring. What it actually shows is 3 rings. And in Skyrim, a lot of the shouts are 3 words. You don't unlock 3 separate words and mix and match them, but you know, Fus, Ro, Da, and all of the other shouts, they're all 3 words. This power of 3s, I think that they like to do. And so
I don't know, man.
I assume you have to go around, assemble 3 rings, or find 3 rings, right? And
There's no way they're doing a 3 thing again.
Oh, why not? It worked the first time.
I guess
It's
it
also
would give it more
really
depth.
simple and nice.
Yeah, there's 3 rings there, but then go back to what's on the desk. Is that the same thing? I don't think it's the same thing.
on the desk they have 2 pieces, and you are adding a third, and then it starts combining, or I think it looks like it splits apart into like 10 pieces, and then is like working into something.
But it's not
Anyway,
the same as one of these rings for the portal.
We don't know. This part we don't know. There are different symbols, it looks like, on here. Notice these don't exactly match, which could be like 3 different words. So I think it'd be cool if you're essentially finding these rings and unlocking these words that can be combined to craft spells, essentially, right?
And then you can only have 1 active at a time or something.
I'm
Yes.
gonna bet it's like Stargate.
You only have
I was
one,
gonna say it seems like a Stargate thing.
but maybe you go into the Stargate and you unlock these 3 spells. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Yes, it seems like a Stargate thing, which is what this comment would also suggest.
Yeah.
Correct?
Maybe it's Stargate. Yeah, it's a Stargate thing where it takes you to different places. So instead of having to jump your ship around, you can just jump through.
Maybe. But
I mean, why even jump?
I was
through?
thinking about that if they come up with a way to like quote unquote fast travel instead of having to like do a jump route. But then I feel like they're bypassing one of the major systems of the game, your
ships.
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why they would do that.
I mean,
but-
and it is fast traveling in your ship. You just are hyper jumping.
Yeah, but
to
it's like
different
you have to
systems.
have fuel. You have to have. They've never had mechanics dependent besides like, I got to pay gold to use the wagon the first time I want to discover a new city. But I don't know.